let me save you some time because you've already played Far Cry 6. This is the prototypical textbook definition of a first-person shooter, and that's about it. The gunplay and vehicles are fine, the controls are smooth, but the story setup and the plot that made me want to play in the first place can't carry the game past everything else that I didn't enjoy. I really thought this would be a game worth my time, but Guerrilla was I wrong. Welcome back to No Time Gamer. We provide reviews, tutorials, and more for the busy gaming life. This is the first Far Cry I've played since Far Cry 3, so I had high hopes that this game would have improved greatly since that iteration was released in 2012. But after about 5 hours of gameplay, I was left wondering if I had just put my Far Cry 3 disc back in. Now, it should have been clear to me after 6 main series titles and a handful of spin-offs that Ubisoft has a formula where they can copy-paste core mechanics into a new location, add in a spicy villain, and end up with a playable game ready to sell. But I at least expected something that I felt innovated in the past decade. The whole reason I wanted to play Far Cry 6 in the first place is because Giancarlo Esposito plays a fantastic antagonist in just about every show or movie he's in, and I figured this game would be another fine addition to that collection. In the opening level and cinematics, you are introduced to his ironclad rule. He plays what equates to Fidel Castro ruling over Cuba, a dictator on a big island in the Caribbean. Anton Castillo, as he is known, is trying to bring prosperity to his country, Yara, via a cancer-curing drug called Viviro, which is made from their tobacco plant. This miracle drug has fueled the Yaran economy, as you would expect a medical breakthrough like this would do. Also, as you would expect, lots of money and power flowing into the country has led to his totalitarian rule. You enter the game as Dani, a citizen of Yara who has joined a small group of guerrilla fighters who are attempting to take back their country. I quite enjoyed how Dani's character was built up in a sensible way. This is no Rey from Star Wars, who mastered her combat skills after a good night's rest like some games often do by the way of making random civilians turn into main characters. She was military trained, so it works out that she could use guns and other tools like grapples with ease. On the weapons and gameplay side of things, I can't lie and say I didn't enjoy popping heads from the shadows. There's a decent amount of weapon variety, and the upgrade system lets you customize your guns to your liking. And this includes the new Supremo, a backpack-mounted projectile launcher that causes big-time destruction. I also really like how smooth and fun the movement mechanics were. Dipping and dodging between cover and sliding around the map were executed almost perfectly. And despite the AI not being particularly smart or engaging, gunfights were a blast. Based on everything so far, you might be confused as to why I don't like this game. And here's the part that kills me. I think this would be great as a TV show, and I really want to know how the story ends, but I just don't have time to play through and figure it out. The story completion time on normal difficulty is about 20 to 30 hours, but I can only drive across the island and do fetch quests and repetitive base clearing missions just to be given another breadcrumb piece of the story so many times before I just don't care anymore. And that's what happened to me. About 5 hours in, I just couldn't be bothered to continue because, as I said, I've already played this game countless times before. Following the introduction, you find out that you need to gain control of 3 of the main regions on the big island of Yara to gather other fighters so you can capture Castillo's home base. Up until you get that objective, the story is very engaging and kept me coming back, but then the game just lost me. In the first region I went to, you become the typical solve everyone else's problem because no one else is capable of doing anything productive type of protagonist. The quests feel like they were added just to make the game last longer, and to be honest, I can't be bothered. I never do this, but I might just watch the cinematics on YouTube to finish the story because I would much rather spend my gaming time playing almost anything else. There are a few other design choices to note that I wasn't a fan of. I really hated the base camps around the map. The first 2 were annoying because the limited movement and weapon usage. Like they didn't trust you to practice safe weapon usage in a single player game. Then at the third camp they decided, hey, let's just make the game third person. This really threw me off as I thought the game was glitched because at no other point in the game do they make you go third person. You also can't drive around any vehicles in the base area. If you get too close, you will be ejected from the vehicle even if you were flying above it. I also encountered a notable amount of bugs for a relatively small number of hours I played. Horses fly into the sky when mounted, follow quests not completing without reloading the game, and even a set piece that I failed because the driver got stuck and was killed by the police. But I guess that's to be expected when AAA games release as beta products these days. I made a smart choice in purchasing a month of Uplay Plus to try this game out, so I'm only down about $15. I don't think this game is close to being worth full price. Luckily, I can try out the rest of the Uplay library too since I paid for a month of it. I had a much better time in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and I didn't even intend to play it. Cooperative play is included, and it worked fine for me. The friend I play with is a regular Far Cry player, and he echoed my thoughts that this was a setback in the series, so I believe my complaints are justified. This game certainly isn't for me. However, if the story intrigues you and you don't mind the checklist of objectives to do, then there's definitely some fun to be had. But for me, Far Cry 6 is time not well spent.